replacing Sean Tyra. Now, two returning players from Warrington, Martin Crompton and Gary Chambers coming on, replacing Paul Bishop and Phil Sumner. Andy Gregory coming away from the base of the scrum, quickly nailed. Much to the delight of the Warrington fans, who, now that the building work is going on behind the sticks to my left, are unable to support the team from that position and have now massed over in the far right hand corner of the pitch, as near to what they hope will be the attacking ploys of their favourites, yellow and blue striped shirted team. Andy Gregory kicks through, nice kick as well, in between the two covering Warrington men, Kenyon and Wernham. Kenyon it is who picks it up, tries to outrun Jed Byrne, does so, now goes round Dennis Betts. Well, he has really learnt from his mentor Robert Myler. Very encouraging run there, and here comes another one now. Wigan caught a little unawares there by Paul Williamson, who went straight from acting half-back up the blind side. But before he could get completely into the clear, he was dragged down into touch.
Best bit of me commentary, that.
Andy Gregory to Botica. Botica again on the run around. Gil Fillon to Botica. Can he open his account? He certainly can. Botica, much to the delight of the cherry and white supporters, completes the run around, taking that ball from Gil Fillon, who got it away in the tackle. Found that the Warrington cover for once wasn't there, and just opened up and ran in for what was a fairly easy try to put Wigan 10-6 in front, 18 minutes into the second half. And now attempting to convert his own try. And does so successfully. So Wigan with a quite handy lead at this stage. Near enough halfway through the second half now. And Wigan 6 points in the clear. Wigan 12, Warrington 6. I'm sure no more delighted man on the pitch than Frano Botica. This could mean, with 2 tries in 6 minutes, that the Warrington team is beginning to feel the pace on this warm and humid afternoon, as Wigan begin to move into full gear. A real test now for Warrington as Dean Bell breaks into the clear. Can he get to the try line? He can't, but the pass inside to Jed Byrne produces the 3rd touchdown of the afternoon from Wigan. And it does now look as though the Warrington team are beginning to feel the pace somewhat, as Jed Byrne there was able to break away down the right hand side of the pitch, realised with about 5 or 6 yards to go that he wasn't going to make it himself, but the support was there from Jed Byrne. The inside pass found him, and he got as near the post as the Warrington cover would allow, and gives Wigan what could be a decisive advantage. And Botica makes it 3 out of 3 with his conversion, and gives Warrington a lot to do to get back into this match now, as Wigan's lead has now stretched to 12 points. Wigan 18, Warrington 6. Straight into Gregory's hands. Quite happy to give it to Ian Gildart, who comes up to the 25-yard mark. Bridge breaking through a couple of tackles and then brought down. Made useful yardage though, about 15 yards. Skerritt going from acting half-back to Gregory. Out to Mike Forshaw. Possession lost. Kenyon. Knock on given. Scrum results. Wigan with the head and ball. Opportunity there for Warrington to camp themselves in the Wigan half, but it's gone to waste now as Wigan in possession. Dean Bell. Gil filling up from full back, supporting his other back division. Betts brought down by Chris Rudd and Steve Malloy. Andy Platt breaks out of a tackle. Botica, in fact Kelvin Skerritt, my mistake. Looks like a New Zealander. He's obviously had plenty of sun in the close season. Nice and brown. Jed Byrne, bit hemmed in by the Warrington players. Gets it wide to Platt. Bell, knock on by Preston. Andy Gregory feeling a shoulder. Trainer on having a look at it. It's a bit of a stretch, and he's quite happy to continue. Runs over to where the scrum has been formed. Warrington come away with it. Kenny with a nice run. Now Herman. Steve Malloy. Martin Crompton to Chris Rudd. So Warrington done a good job from that scrum. Moved from deep in their own half, well into Wigan's half, and will now look to put an attacking move together if possible. Billy McGinty breaking away from a couple of tackles, looking for support, can't find it. Jed Byrne brings him down. Sumner going on his own. Last tackle. And Warrington still with a lot to do to score from here. Crompton realise they've got to get tries, and they're doing their best to do so. Wild pass thrown out though by Paul Williamson. It would have been possession to Wigan anyway on the handover if he died with it, so desperation stakes were called for, but the ball didn't run his way. Skerritt tries to clear his line, but 3 crunching Warrington players get him to the deck. Betts Warrington, of course, will be all out to keep Wigan penned in this 25 and then hope they can get possession and turn it to advantage. Platt to Botica, always in support, isn't he? Out to Preston. Preston away, ankle tap, and a very opportune one by Mike Wernham. Otherwise, I'm convinced that Preston would have been away for the 4th try for Wigan. Mike Wernham doing a very good covering job, and a good but illegal covering job by Martin Crompton on Dean Bell. Results in a penalty to Wigan, about 5 yards out from the Warrington line. Nice break by Andy Platt. Botica in support, made the yardage and then gave it out to Dean Bell, who found the speed merchant Mark Preston. Looked at one time as though he was going to clock up his first try of the afternoon, but a very aware Mike Wernham dove full length, just managed to tap his ankle and bring him to the deck, and it looks as though that ankle tap has resulted in an injury to Mark Preston. He's down on the deck now, receiving attention. I don't think he'll take any further part in the match. As Dennis Betts scoots over between the posts, that little general Andy Gregory again giving the telling pass. The opening was there, and Dennis Betts opens his account and takes Wigan even further away from the Warrington team. Really have got a mountain to climb now. In fact, I think it's totally out of reach now. 27 minutes into the second half. Just 13 minutes left. And Botica clips over his 4th conversion. So this run of 5 successive Locker Cup successes for Warrington is surely coming to an end here at Central Park, as Wigan move into a 24 points to 6 lead with only 12 minutes left. On the way Wigan have played in this second half, Warrington will do well to keep them down to that scoreline. What looked like very impressive covering from Warrington in the first half has really been ripped apart by this Wigan line-up in the second 40 minutes. And they were well on the way again there by Andy Platt, whose misdirected pass was picked up by Tommy Barber. Warrington, forlorn hope now, just trying to bring respectability into the scoreline if they possibly can. Warrington have given Wigan some good beatings in those 5 successes, and it'll be sweet revenge this for the Central Park men, as Martin Crompton finds Kevin Ellis, who in turn finds Phil Sumner. This is the last tackle though. Martin Crompton, kick towards the line, ball lost, rolls dead. It was Gary Chambers there who saw a golden opportunity to narrow the gap as that ball ran loose, but it had just rolled a yard or so over the dead ball line before he could reach it. Paul Williamson, plenty of space. Brought down by Reid. Martin Crompton. Gary Chambers. Betts and Platt there. Ellis. Playing it wide to Barber. Martin Crompton holds on to the ball, but Botica there, breaks through Botica, but Mr. Kershaw says the tackle was completed and orders the play of the ball to take place. Kevin Ellis, kick by Wernham into the corner. Wigan covers there in the form of Ian Gilfillan. And Wayne Reid clearing his line, making about 10 yards. Jeb Byrne. I think the fact that Paul Bishop went off meant that a lot of the invention that he displayed disappeared, and the Warrington attacking moves have suffered as a result of his absence. Plus, of course, that allied to the fact that Andy Gregory then found more space due to Bishop being replaced, meant that whereas Paul Bishop dominated the first half from scrum half, Andy Gregory has very much done so for Wigan in this second half, as he now picks up the ball and throws a long pass out to Mike Forshaw. Dennis Betts breaking through the middle. Cover from Gary Chambers and Steve Malloy. Andy Gregory again to Andy Platt. Jed Byrne on to Russell Bridge, and away he goes. So it's that two experienced internationals, Andy Gregory and Andy Platt, combining once again, and I'm sure that will be a highlight of Russell Bridge's career as he scores his first try for Wigan's first team with 7 minutes remaining in the match. I dare say he'll be hoping that there will be many more first team appearances and tries to come, but it's very hard with the competition here at Wigan for A-teamers to break their way through, although they've only got to look at the process of people like Phil Clark, Bobby Goulding, Ian Gildart, Ian Lucas, Dennis Betts, to realise that if you do produce the goods in the A-team, then the opportunity is there to get a first team spot. Even though when you look at the first team lineup with all the established stars, it must be a forbidding proposition. But if you're going to break into the first team, what a first team to break into here at Wigan. If you do get established, at least you've got plenty of support to encourage you in your early days in the first team, as I'm sure Frano Botica himself will testify to. He plants over his 5th conversion of the match, 5 out of 5, and Wigan move into a 30 points to 6 lead with just 6 minutes left of this Locker Cup match, and the announcement has just come over the tannoy, whereas Paul Bishop at half time looked the favourite to win the Man of the Match award. He may rue the fact that he was substituted in the second half, because that award has now gone to his opposite number, the Wigan scrum half, Andy Gregory. So the Lockers International Man of the Match, Wigan's number 14, Andy Gregory, who of course this season will have the competition of Bobby Goulding, to keep him on his toes throughout the whole of the league programme. As Kelvin Skerritt puts another of his bulldozing runs in, replacing of course the man who was released at the end of last season and has now moved on to Australian Rugby League, Shelford, which also opened up the overseas spot, now filled by Frano Botica, who's managed a try and 5 goals on his debut for the Wigan first 13. And I'm sure he'll be delighted with that return. Nice ball from Crompton. Fortunate to find Kevin Ellis with that pass. Tony Burke to Thursfield. Wider still to Kevin Ellis. Recollects to Tony Burke. As Warrington try to end the match on a high note, but that was the 6th tackle, and the handover to Wigan. Andy Gregory throws a few dagger-eyed looks at Jed Byrne for that pass, but whereas on the previous occasion he got one down at his ankles, he knocked on. That time he managed to dive forward a couple of yards and keep hold of it. Skerritt thrown to the ground by Tony Burke. Ball behind the Wigan men. Dean Bell has to turn around and collect, and of course can't get any momentum as a result. Then throws out a very hasty pass, which is picked up by Paul Derbyshire. Tony Burke. Another player I'm sure will be in the action and giving 100% for Warrington during the coming season. Martin Crompton. Kevin Ellis, seen a lot of the ball in the last couple of minutes. So just 3 minutes remaining. Can Warrington get a consolation try? They're doing the damnedest. Ellis thrown out wide to Kenyon. Breaks out to the tackle. Pulled down right on the corner flag. And the touch judge gives it as touching goal. Ian Gildart and Dean Bell preventing Neil Kenyon from planting the ball right in that right hand corner. And he now limps away from that corner flag, feeling the effects of that hard challenge. Must have thought for a moment there that his moment of glory had come, and he just had to sprint for that corner and stretch over. Well, he came as close as you possibly could, but the Wigan cover was too good. And now it's Wigan looking to turn the game the opposite way. Gregory again. Betts on a dummy run. Gilfillan through. Botica with him. Botica going all the way to the try line. Forced into the left-hand corner by Chris Rudd. It means he's going to have a hard conversion, but I don't think that'll worry him, as he scores in the last minute his 2nd try of the match. And there must be a few questions asked as to whether the man of the match award was given 5 minutes too early, because if you score 2 tries and 5 goals on your debut, you'd expect really to carry off the man of the match award, but that's already gone to Andy Gregory. I'm sure it won't worry Frano Botica too much. He'll just be encouraged by his first display in a cherry and white shirt. I hope he realises that this kind of return will not continue throughout the rest of the season. English Rugby League is not quite as easy as it's looked for him today. Botica with the attempt from the touchline. Drifts it across the post. So that leaves a final scoreline to the winners of the Locker Cup. Wigan, 5 goals, 6 tries, 34 points. And Warrington's run of 5 successive wins brought to an end, 6 points from a single goal and a single try.